Hello, this is Tom Lord. I am here at COP26 with Norton Rose Fulbright. It is my pleasure today to be with Martin Beaudoin Nadeau, founder and CEO of Viridis Terra, on the Nature Day at COP26. Viridis Terra is a green tech company specialized in land restoration and large-scale forest landscape restoration as a means to fight the climate and ecological crises that we see. Their technology package includes a mix of biotech, tech, and social innovation. And it is my pleasure to be able to ask questions of Martin today. Martin, how have you seen the interest in nature-based solutions change since the last several COP events?
Well, Tom, thank you for having me today. And what I have seen in the last two COPs, it's usually it was on the back burner, the natural capital, nature-based solution. And what we have seen is since the Madrid COP25 and this year, we just seen a tremendous increase in interest in the nature-based solution as a solution. And probably the reason why is because of the expert on the IPCC have identified that about 30 up to 37% of the Paris Agreement objective would be reached using nature-based solutions. Since then, we have seen a lot of side events, companies, organizations push forward with these new solutions to fight climate change. So it's a very good news for the sector.
Wonderful. And sort of in that light, in the past, what issues and challenges have you seen related to the emergence and growth of nature-based solutions as a mean to fight climate and ecological crises, and sort of where are we going here?
Well, the challenge I've seen in the past is that a lot of in the private sector, especially to get funding for these projects, with the financial sector, is that they consider nature-based solution to be like 25 years ago with renewable energy, that it's a very new emerging industry that I have a lot to prove, I have a lot to make sure too. So they still see it as a riskier industry to invest in. So some of the biggest challenge is to be able to show them quickly the economic viability of these new solutions, so they be able to put tens to hundreds of millions of dollars in the sector. And this is where the public sector has an important role to play to come de-risk these projects early on, these new business model, so we can scale up very quickly afterward with 100% private sector money.
That's really interesting. So could you share with us Viridis Terra and Trees of Live's mission and story, and sort of how you bring solutions to these challenges that you have seen?
Excellent. Well, I'm a forest engineer by trade, and I did work and study in different countries, Canada, Costa Rica, Ecuador, working in 4 different countries in Africa, DRC, Zambia, South Africa, Madagascar. And when I was at the end of my master's degree, I was specialized in land restoration. And what I was seeing is that I couldn't find any company or organization that were bringing a real integrated solution to a problem at large scale. Because in 2015, I decided to found in Viridis Terra, just to bring a multidisciplinary team together and invest massively in technological development, so we can bring a very good solution for government, for communities, to be able to do these activities at very large scale. And since 2015, we have 2016 especially, we have seen a big push in the international communities to restore and reforest millions of hectares of degraded land as a means to fight climate change. So far, countries that pledged to restore and reforest over 250 million hectares. It's as big as Argentina, but they need solution to be able to do it, and that's where we were business model. We decided to work to be able to bring the private sector in this, so everyone would make money from it: the communities, the landowner, the private sector, and to to be able to fight the problem, because the government doesn't have enough money to do it. And that's where Trees of Life come in, is that we have developed a platform that not only allow us to better manage our data operation, so we can scale up, but also it has an investment vehicle where individual, corporation, institution can invest into projects. We bring the capital, we do the restoration activities with the high technology in the field with communities. These lands these new forests, like forests that are start to produce goods and services again. And when these goods are sold on the market, like nature positive commodities, like timber, agri-food products, medicinal products, the profit are shared equally between the landowner, the communities, and the Trees of Life partner. And also the Trees of Life partner receives some carbon removal credits every year as it's certified related to its investment. So it's not a cost anymore to become carbon neutral, carbon negative, using a part of it from offsetting. It's an impact investment that generates returns and benefits to all stakeholders. So for us, it was very important to transform a cost into an investment, because if you don't do that, people see it, why I would pay to buy some credits to become carbon neutral. But now, instead of putting $5,000 in the bank or 15,000, you just put it in Trees of Life and you become carbon negative. You become a key player in the fight against climate change, and also you make money doing it. So there's no more reason why not becoming carbon negative. And if we all need to mobilize people and organization to that fight of becoming carbon neutral and carbon negative, because that's the only way we're going to be able to win that fight against the climate change.
That, Martin, is very interesting in that it really does differentiate, as you said, your product of Trees of Lives from being just a cost to being a return. And this is interesting. But sort of in that light, though, as you talk about the idea of return on investment, sort of how does Viridis Terra and Trees of Lives balance that benefit to the local community and the host country with the benefits to the investor? And how is that monitored? How do you assure people, especially with the new IFRS proposal, that they can validate that these benefits are going to both the community and to the investor?
Thank you, Tom. I was talking about the digital platform that we have developed. It's because we collect all the data that we have in the field, everything through that platform. And that platform was made to be very transparent and traceable. So all stakeholders can have access to the information. And within the platform, we have an investor space, an investor dashboard, where everyone that decides to become partner through Trees of Life can see all the activities in the field, the progress with videos, photos, everything that is happening, and also see all the projection in the real returns and impact related to financial. We have two different type of return related to financial. One is the value of the units in Trees of Life increased over time, because the Trees of Life partner have the co-ownership of the biological assets created from the trees in the field, but also these annual distributions that come back from the sales of the outputs created by these new forests. And also directly on the platform, you see the carbon, all the carbon removal created, the projection, and also the real data that we get over time. Same thing with biodiversity. We follow both the natural capital value and the quality hectares created in the project. And for each of the 17 sustainable development goals, we follow 2 or 3 metrics that we update many times, at least 1 or 2 times a year within the platform. So that becomes very transparent and traceable. This is a very important part. And the way we balance the return is that, the landowner received his predetermined budget to manage sustainably his forest during the year. And then at the end of the year, when we sell the nature positive commodities, that's where the landowner receives his predetermined budget plus 50% of all the profit generated from the sales of the product. So the other 50% goes to Trees of Life, and we are able to bring an attractive return related to both these 50% profit and the value of the units. We have an expected internal rate of return of about 15%. So for that kind of project, but that does not include the carbon. So if you add the carbon over that, it's even higher value. And when we look at all the value we create all the impacts, and we monetize it. It's about the 38% internal rate of return that we get. But this is all non-financial returns that we can measure, like avoided economic damage, because you are removing carbon, but you don't cause future problem related to the climate. So we are able to measure that also directly to the platform, and so that's where for the carbon removal, the investor get for the first 30 years 70% of all the carbon removal certified on the market. So for us, it was made to ensure that it's fair for everyone and everyone benefits from it.
And that is interesting. And you mentioned at the end that they would be certified. What registries do you do so that companies, how do you register the carbon credit so that companies can be assured that there will be a process for managing it, that they will not be subject to double counting and those sorts of things?
But right now we are on the voluntary market. We are at 100% on the voluntary market right now. But we have interest to be on both voluntary and compliance. For example, with the Western Climate Initiative in Quebec, they just released a new protocol for reforestation. So for sure, we use this protocol when we do projects in these places. But for the voluntary, it's mostly Vera CCB that we are working with right now, and right now we are also following closely what is happening with Article 6, because I'm sure it will have some impact on the methodology and protocols that we will have to use in the future. But for us, the certification is very important and verified by third parties. This is very important. But for us, we need to go a lot further than that. And I say that it's good to have sequester the carbon, but what happened to that carbon 5 or 10 years from now? And we see a lot of these projects that often only bring enough value, so it only pay the cost of establishing the trees in the field. But what happened after 2 years or 5 years, and if the communities don't benefit from it? So what happened 15, 20 years? Sometimes what you see is that it's just these trees are gone after a few years because you didn't create enough value. So that business model was made to ensure we create value on the short, mid, and long term to these communities, and help them manage it sustainably, be involved during decades in the project. And that's where, and we also include a reserve to replace any loss, an additional reserve that it's not part of the percentage that it's kept by the certification, so we can ensure that they are high quality carbon removal, and to ensure that it won't affect it will keep a good reputation for all the Trees of Life partner that have access to this carbon removal for the ESG and net zero objective.
Martin, thank you very much, and best of luck with your event this afternoon with the Peruvian government at the AIDA Pavilion. I thank you for your time. This is Tom Lord with Norton Rose Fulbright. We'll continue to post events on our COP website and continue to provide information to people on ESG issues. Thank you.